Hello everyone. I just wanted to share with you all some of my writing and some of the writing that you're going to get if you sign up to be a patron, $3 a month. From 2014 to 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I was putting out poetry zine or chapbook. I don't like that word. I don't know why. It's just a thing. Every year. And the first one I did was in 2014, a while ago now. It was called My Fist is a Book of Ethics. And maybe I'll share later a little bit more about like what my project was with these poems. I'm not really writing poetry anymore, or right now. I mean, but I definitely had these 5 books are sort of a progression and experiments in what I thought poetry should do, or how I should go about doing poetry. And so that means that this stuff, this very first one I did in 2014, my life was very different, and I was trying different things. Isn't really much like what I do anymore, but I still, of course, I mean, that's the thing about writing. You put it out there and it kind of calcifies, and it's a thing forever. But I still want to share it with you. And like I said, if you sign up, then you get all 5 of these bad boys, plus whatever zine I'm working on, plus the Peregrine Eloquent, which will be my monthly single sheet zine, which I'll share about later. Anyway, so I'm going to read 3 poems from this today, just to give you a glimpse. This one's called Adjective Possibilities. It's adjective, but I like to say adjective. Yeah, I'll explain that later, maybe. Traffic wants to have a physics. Memory desires a schema. Knowing is neither a bulimia nor a nymphomania. That fluid's pool, or congeal, is simple and rife with adjective possibilities, and thought wants to be smoke. I think I've read that in a video before. Doing it again. The second one is Critique of the Surface number 1. Everything is delineated by cracks, caused by something else, multiple somethings else. Things like impacts, too sudden changes in temperatures, too many other cracks already, smashings together caused by loosenings, suspensions called into question by suggestions of a causality at the end of its rope, a comprisal that is for all intents and purposes. To touch a particular crack is to trace it, or to fight the urge to trace it, and to call into question the propriety of that point at which one feels one should stop touching it, touch it with something else, or jump to another crack. It depends on what or if you are looking for and what, and whether or not you can trace it over in something like the reverse, or whether the surface is constantly rising, and from a sinking vantage, one might understand the zigzagging effect of such a reversal. I thought forever that, or when I was writing this, poetry should sort of be about itself, shouldn't take up external content like concrete materials, which is a little ironic with that poem because, or maybe lots of poetry and lots of theory, because it takes concrete physical material things and makes a metaphor of them. It makes a metaphorical concept that we use to understand the world. There's a lot about that. Dialectical relationship between how we think or / what we say and the shit in the world that we use our hands on. How both of those things affect how we understand each of them. That's what that poem, I think, maybe was trying to get at. So I don't know. The last one is the one I think people like the most, and I think it's because it actually contains more of that material, physical content that I was trying to get away from with this stuff. Because I think A, that shit's inevitable, obviously, and B, I've sort of done a 180 in terms of my ideas about content, the content of things, the content of my poetry, content being in it, and not the poem as a form being its own content or non-content, if that makes sense. This one's called The 7 to the 3. August trickles down access roads, the jaggedy tops of thin planked backyard fences spilling out childhoods and futures. It's this idea about something represented by a far-awayedness, something about liquor stores and strip malls being very much like memories, about steering away from language and the desire to steer away from language. Everything is for that reason anathema. One is not guilty of that which is for all intents and purposes. One is simply more than likely overwhelmed by what, to him, has added up to be the world. Having a quality of essential similarity to something other than itself, something worthy of other words, words other than its own. An honest reaction to the world is worthy of poetry that will never comprise it. If there were no world, there would be no poetry. So do not make of something that which it isn't. Instead, make a poetry like beads of condensation, connecting tiny rivers on some pane of glass, some deep surface, some ineffable texture. Something like a choir of something like angels might articulate something like that which immediately slips away. Something whose slipping away one realizes is the substance of the act of something being something like sung, and sung into viscous existence, and simply not something like metaphysical or concrete, but sliding about slowly on a scale from 1 to 10, oscillating something like in and around anywhere from the 7 to the 3. Thanks for listening. Please consider, supporting me. I would really appreciate it.